I think someone was using my car at night. I bought that car used from a dealership in early spring. It wasn't special. A compact sedan, gray, reliable enough. I parked it on the street outside my apartment because the building's garage had a waiting list. That was normal for the area. My routine was predictable. I left for work at the same time every weekday. I parked in roughly the same spot each evening. I kept the interior clean. I didn't eat in the car. I didn't give rides. The first thing I noticed was the fuel gauge. One Monday morning, I started the engine and saw it was lower than I expected. Not empty, just lower. I assumed I had misremembered how much fuel I had left. I told myself I'd pay closer attention next time. That same week, I noticed the seat position felt different, slightly farther back. I'm tall, so I usually push it back anyway. The difference was subtle. I adjusted it and moved on. By the end of the week, it happened again. The fuel, the seat. Once, the climate control was set to a temperature I never used. I considered obvious explanations. Faulty gauge, muscle memory, distraction. I was under some pressure at work, and I didn't trust my impressions enough to treat them as facts. So I started documenting. I took a photo of the dashboard when I parked. I noted the mileage in my phone. I straightened the floor mat and aligned it with the door frame. The first 2 nights showed nothing unusual. On the third morning, the mileage was higher. Not by much, just under 5 kilometers. I stood there longer than necessary, looking at the number. I checked my notes. I checked the photo from the night before. The numbers didn't match. I didn't feel scared. I felt confused. There were reasonable explanations. A photo glitch, a typo. I had driven somewhere and forgotten. Still, I checked the locks. They were intact. No broken glass, no signs of forced entry. I went to a mechanic that weekend. I asked them to check the locking system and the onboard computer. They found nothing wrong. The keys hadn't been duplicated recently, as far as they could tell. That answer should have reassured me. It didn't. The next escalation was the smell. When I opened the car one evening, there was a faint odor inside. Not smoke, not alcohol, just the smell of someone else. Clean but unfamiliar, like a different soap. I cleaned the interior myself the next day. Thoroughly, I wiped every surface. I vacuumed. I made sure nothing was left behind. 2 nights later, the smell was back. I stopped using the car for a few days. I worked from home. I watched the street from my window. Nothing unusual happened. No one lingered near it. No alarms went off. When I finally drove again, there was a disposable coffee cup in the passenger door. I don't drink coffee. I never had. That was the point where I contacted the police. They were polite, practical. They took a statement. They suggested it was possible someone had access to a master key or that I had been mistaken. They advised me to change the locks at my own expense. I did. New locks, new keys. I marked the tires with chalk before going to bed. The following morning, the chalk marks were gone. I sold the car 2 weeks later. I didn't explain why. I didn't try to prove anything. I accepted a lower price than I could have gotten. I walk now, or I take public transport. I still check mileage out of habit, even when it doesn't apply. And when I smell a stranger's soap in a closed space, I notice it immediately.